Hey guys, my name is Jason. I've been programming in Angular since Angular 2. I also do Angular JS. I've been at it for a long time. This tutorial is mainly going to show you something that I found during my development in my personal projects that I can't say that I've seen it anywhere else. Obviously, no code really is original, and it's all public domain, right? But I just haven't seen this method of using reusable forms without the need for replicating the methods required to make them reusable and nestable inside of other forms. So this tutorial is really short and sweet. Uh, Please forgive me if I just kind of go skim over some things. I'm just gonna go and assume that you know Angular, and you know the basics, and you are here at this tutorial because you want to take it a step further. So I hope you enjoy the video. Welcome to my tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to reduce the boilerplate on reusable Angular forms, the way that they've conventionally been guided on how to make. This right here is just one example by a man named Cory. Shout out for making this awesome tutorial. We will be using it as reference. This tutorial is aimed at people that are more or less familiar with modern Angular and know the ins and outs and the nuances of it. If you don't, you probably might want to start by brushing up on Cory Ryland. Here's a write-up on how to make reusable forms. We use reusable forms when we have one particular form that we don't want to recreate every time under different forms. That's the goal of modular code. And to take it one step further, I've found that I'm able to not have to repeat the boilerplate in this particular method over and over in my personal projects. So I'm going to try and show you guys today on how I did that. We just got to start here by first looking at what he's got in terms of markup and controller. We have our own example right here. This is our UI. And we're going to go ahead and run it. What is it? npm run starts. We have our base form set up, name, last name, email, password. We have our controller that basically just console logs the changes in our reusable form. And we fail to compile because... Aha. Go ahead and fix this so Angular stops yelling at us. Cool. Go ahead, compile. We refresh, and we're good to go. All right, fantastic. All right, so once again, we have our basic form right here. We're going to attempt to take our email and password and modularize it and make it reusable in different forms. We're going to append it to this base form as a component. So let's go ahead and remove our declarations of them so it doesn't cry about it later when we remove them. Actually, just so you guys see that it is actually reactive and working, we have here in the console, email and password they both have values. Cool. Now we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and remove them. Let's go ahead and comment these out as well for the time being. So here we have our form that we're going to nest inside of the base form. This is the email and password form where we took out the email, the label, and the input for the email and password. We have here, we've replicated Cory's reusable form markup. What it implements is the control value accessors, which I don't think we have here. Let's go ahead and take that. He implements control value accessors, so we must as well. Let's go ahead and import that. Cool. So what's going on here? We put the providers. This is important. This is going to stay here on pretty much every reusable form component that we create here on from. We have the get, the set, and then we have the boilerplate. This is the entire boilerplate. You will see this here. He's wrote it up here. He has it right underneath his ngOnDestroy. So we just took that, we copy pasted it right here. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and see how that works on our base form. Let's go ahead and actually grab the selector for it and put it here. Let's see if we can get some autocomplete. Bam. And now let's append our form control name as email pass. And let's let the reactive form know about it. Email pass to new form control. Excellent. Oh, there we go. So we have name, last name, email, and password. You can see it's an object, and it shows right there. Can we make that bigger? There we go. Excellent. All right. Well, now what we've done, and this is my way, is I've gone ahead and created a library. Angular Workspaces allows us to create libraries. So it's basically ngg library and then name the library. And what that does is under a projects directory, it creates a source and a lib, and it's just a component. This component is like, it's not a component per se, as Angular knows. It does use an Angular lifecycle hook, so we do want to, you will get compiler errors if you do not put the inject function here to inject these two parameters. What we're going to do is every time we want to make a reusable form like the email and password form, we're going to pass in the form group here in the constructor, and then we're just going to give it a name, right? Because we want to be able to keep track of the errors during validation, and we want it to have the appropriate name. So you pass in a name, and it's just going to append it to this object, and then it's going to spit that out as that is going to be the error. See, the error object. All right, so we've created this. We've basically taken all of this boilerplate. So from the lifecycle hook ngOnInit, we take down, we went ahead and cut and pasted this, even the value form changes, which is essential to making a reusable form work. We went ahead and took this out as well, right? We're just going to go ahead and take out ngOnInit because we're not going to need it. And then to get the TypeScript to stop yelling at us, why are you crying? Class implicitly implements. We no longer need this. All right. And we no longer have this here. So here's the difference. We've gone ahead and taken all of the boilerplate out of our original reusable form, and we have put it inside of our reusable form library. You can see right here, we got the getter, the setter, and the methods used to make it reusable, and we even took that subscribe value changes. And you obviously want to go ahead and do a pipe and then take until this dot destroyed, right? You should have that in place for all your subscriptions and your observables, or else you will have memory leaks. Again, this is an advanced tutorial, so if you don't know about that, please research that, because this will be widely used across your platform, across your application. So we went ahead and took the onSubscribe changes, where it uses the methods onChange and onTouched to bubble up the differences of the form. You do not need these two interfaces here. They're just so I could feel like a good programmer and have some typings embedded into my code. It's always good practice to have typing. So we have the control value accessor here. Basically, if you decide to spawn this up, which you wouldn't, it would need to have the following values: register on change, write values. See all this here. If you spawned up an instance of reusable form and didn't add these form methods, it would yell at you. Then we have the validator interface as well. Just basically all the essentials needed not to start repeating ourselves in the code when we want to make a form reusable. So how do we apply this to our email pass form component? Well, what we want to do is take it out of the actual class, and we want to make it a constant. So export const form is equal to what we had, a new form group here. So now it's available before the constructor. So we're trying to make this reusable, so we need to be able to extend reusable. Did I spell that right? Reusable form component at import from reusable form component. Now it's asking us to add the constructor, soup constructor, and it needs two parameters. It needs the actual form instance and the name that we choose to give it. So since we do have the const up here of the form, we have reference to it globally. Let's go ahead and pass that in. And let's go ahead and give it a string name of email pass so we know what validators we're failing. So now we did keep the providers here. We do still need these in order for our reusable form to work, but as you can see, it's a lot less messy here, and we can just, this is a repeatable pattern. It's very maintainable when you want to reuse forms. All right, cool. We have form group on email pass. So what you can do is, if you did have some ngOnInit logic, is this dot form is equal to form. We can do this actually here. Where? Under, no, we still need that there. We can do it here. So form is equal to form. Or does it have to be? We can actually give it another name. Email pass form is equal to form. I guess we just do it for legibility's sake. Let's go ahead and give this that. So now it has proper reference to it. All right, that looks good. All right, let's hope it works. And as you can see, we still have our reactive form working. And it's very maintainable. So what did we do? Let's recap here. The only thing I did off screen is create this library. This library, you should have libraries in your project. If you want to make reusable modular code, you need to make libraries in your project. What this did was, it has its own dependency injection here, and it's available across every project you create in Angular Workspace. Did I do something here? It exports only the component that we created here in lib, which is just a component. Make sure you have injectable, and make sure you inject a string, or else you can't. It's gonna yell at you if you don't have this right here. So make sure you have that. ng package. If you want to add styles, you can. If you want to add maybe material library from Angular material, you would add that here. So like Angular mat buttons, etc., etc. And what you need to do every time is, if you want to get changes to show up in the library, what the hell did I do here? If you want to get changes to show up in the library, such as, let's go ahead and console.log. This is a change to the library, right? And let's just go ahead and show you what that looks like without building the library. It's not going to change anything. We should be getting changes. We have that here. But what it needs to do, because what happens is it builds to the dist folder. So as you can see in the dist folder, this is what gets deployed to your web servers, and it gets minified and it's just retrieved through the project. So you can see it's here. But what needs to happen, if you made a library, of course you can run this without being a library. I just think it's better practice, especially if you have multiple apps, to make everything a library, especially something as useful as this. You have to do ng build reusable form. Bam, right? So let's go ahead and run the project again. And we should see this in the console log whenever we make a change to the form. This is a change to the library. You have to rebuild this every single time you make a change to the library. So make sure you get it down pat the way you want it before you make it a library. If anybody has any questions, leave it in the comments. This is the first video of its kind that I'm making. I just thought it was useful. I hope you guys find it useful as well. If you can actually make this better, by all means, drop it in the comments. Any constructive criticism is welcomed. But yeah, I hope this helps you write some stellar projects in Angular. Let's keep Angular alive. It's my favorite framework, so I don't do much React or anything because I like Angular's verbose sense of typing, just the way it works. I just think Angular is just the right choice and framework when you want to write enterprise applications. So yeah, subscribe if you want. Definitely comment. Leave your input. Until the next video, I guess.